After nearly 6 years of negotiations, German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas has finally acknowledged that Germany committed genocide against the Ovaherero and Nama ethnic groups between 1904 and 1908 in modern-day Namibia, killing up to 80% of Ovahereros and 50% of Namas at the time. The minister also announced that the German government would commit to giving financial support of about 1 billion euros over 30 years for development projects in Namibia, as a gesture of recognition of the atrocities committed in Namibia. This announcement came as a shock and surprise to the Nama and Ovaherero communities, despite the German and Namibian governments both insisting that the affected communities were included in the negotiation process.
When the announcement came, I think it came as a shock for most of us, at least for those of us who are directly affected by this issue, because we have been following these discussions very closely. There was really no consultation. If there were consultations, then these were community meetings that were held with the broader community in order to table an agenda that was already decided upon.
While the German foreign minister has admitted that what happened in Namibia was genocide, the financial support of 1 billion euros is being framed as a generous gesture, which the members of the Nama and Ovaherero communities argue should be considered reparations, and that the amount is far from being enough.
If the German government wants to give development aid to the Namibian government, that is fine, that is not a problem, but we should not confuse that with reparations and with acknowledgement of genocide. We are talking about hospitals, roads, tar roads. We are talking about a few clinics, maybe putting up a vocational center somewhere. These are projects that are the responsibility of the Namibian government. These are not projects that are the responsibility of the German government. The responsibility of the German government is to repair the damage that it has done to the Nama and the Ovaherero people. Reparation is not development aid. It becomes so difficult to put a price to the life, to human life. An entire community of people that are destined for genocide and whose population has not been halved, but more than half the population, Nama population, was killed. So to put a price to those lives gone and just, unilaterally killed, that in itself is already something that is really quite painful.
According to Sima Luipert, the reparation negotiations started at 1.2 trillion Namibian dollars and have now come down to 18 billion Namibian dollars over 30 years. A former Namibian bank CEO argues that Germany paid $822 million to Holocaust survivors in 1952. An amount that is worth about 506 trillion Namibian dollars at today's value. This figure makes Germany's proposal for Namibia look like a drop in the ocean. There is a huge difference between the scale of the Holocaust and the Namibian genocide. But what is the way forward? What should Germany do, and what needs to change in Namibia for the Nama and Ovaherero communities to get the justice they deserve? This announcement by the German minister was fairly rushed and poorly negotiated, given the widespread backlash from the affected communities. There is a lot to be done to include the affected communities in the negotiations and for Namibians to band together in support of this plight. The question is, are both governments willing to accommodate the backlash, given the urgent timeline implied by the German foreign minister, who mentioned intent to formalize an agreement with the Namibian government in the next months to come? What do you think? The full interview with Sima Luipert is available on our YouTube channel and podcast. We interview experts and stakeholders of African news to enrich your news experience on the internet. Subscribe to our channel or podcast for more.